Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to FX Maniac again. This is Syed Mahmoud Amiri, and actually before I say anything else, let me drink some water, so apologize for that.
2 hours later.
Alright, so that's better. Alright, so in this tutorial I'll be showing you guys how to fill an object using Tyflow. So as you're seeing in the video in the background, we have a torus knot and it's filling it very naturally with some particles. We did some different colored materials, which we're going to be doing, some lighting, and rendered out. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you did, you know, show your appreciation by giving it a thumbs up. And you know, if you want to, you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And if you don't want to, that is completely fine. Alright, so let's get started with the tutorial, and you know, make sure to watch it till the end. Alright, so here I am inside 3D Studio Max, and we have a very big Tyflow icon here. So it's going to be a very short and simple tutorial. So this is basically the result, and I don't have lights and everything, but I'm just gonna show you guys how to set this up very quickly. Alright, so let's get started. I'm just gonna go to reset. Don't save this. Yes, I want to reset this. So I'm going to create a Tyflow, and first off I'm just gonna need an extended primitive, a torus knot, which is the object in this case that we've used. Sorry, I need to do that again. Just like this. Okay, and I'm just going to move this up, hit Z on it, and we need to add some details. So the easiest way to add it, you can go ahead of course and increase the segments, but then you'd have to do like twice the size and everything. But if you want to increase everything at the same time, you just add a turbo smooth modifier, which will basically take care of everything else. And if you want to disable these selection brackets, hold down Shift and J. So I'm using 2021 right now, but if you're using an older version or an earlier version, you can just hit J and that will take care of it. Alright, we need to add some shell to this object, so I'm just going to add a shell modifier. I think 1 centimeter is fine. So if your unit setup is not set to centimeters, you can go ahead into the unit setup, set it to metric centimeters, and make sure that 1 unit is 1 centimeter. Alright. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be creating like 2 emitters, like icons. So if you go into the create palette, go to the helpers, and then go to Tyflow, and I'm just going to add a Ty icon. So I'm going to add it like here from the top view and move it up just like that. Make sure it is inside the object, which will allow it to kind of, you know, emit particles on the inside and not on the outside. And I'm just going to be adding one more like here. So hold down Shift, copy that, and just drag it in. So I apologize if I'm going a little slow or anything, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys can set this up properly. And if you want to, you can go ahead and skip this part and just set it up, and that's it. Okay, so here we have. And the other thing I'm going to do is hit F3 again, hit F4 to hide the wireframe, and right click on this and set object properties and go to X-ray mode. So see through, or you can hit Alt X. So that is basically it. And I'm going to make my Tyflow a little larger so I can access it. Go into Tyflow. It's a very simple setup, so just go ahead and drag it here. I'm just going to add a birth 0 to we want to be till 300 frames, and I want my timeline to be 300 frames. So I'm just going to go into time configuration, turn off real time, and set it to 300 frames, and just yeah, that's it. And I'm going to be adding a position icon, and we'll add these icons so the particles are going to get birth on those icons, as you can see. And if I change the color to like red so you can see it better, and yeah, so we want to add some shape to these. So I'll add a probably a geosphere mid-res, and I'm gonna add another one. So new, go to 3D and the chunks round is the one that I've used here, and I'm just going to set it to geometry. So that is basically it. And now if we add a physics shape to it, what it's going to do is if you put it down here, it's going to make them fall down and collide with each other. So now we have that one set up, but then we want it to be big, so I'll just add like a scale modifier on top and make it like what, 300. Alright, so I think 300 is fine, or maybe we can add like 400 to it. Alright, so now they are sort of colliding with each other and colliding with the grid, but they're not colliding with the object. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a physics collision here, and as you can see, if I pick this object, you can see that they are sort of going on the outside of the object, and that's why if the hole type is set to convex, and if I set this to display hole, you can see that it is actually covering the object. So if you want this to be accurate, you can go ahead into the hole type and set it to mesh. So now they are going to be inside the object, okay? And I want to display off, and now they are sort of filling inside the object, but we have two less of particles. So if you see in this original example here in After Effects, which the render is done, you know, we have a lot of objects. So in order to make it fill quickly, you need to definitely increase the number of particles. So I want to go ahead and set that to like 2000 particles, and now you can see that they're definitely increased and that we have a lot more particles. And you can see one of the objects actually got out of the simulation, which is not what we like. So you can go ahead and bring this you know, if I go here and select, so the easiest way to select this, because we have this object, is you go into the selection filter and select helpers, and then select this this one, just move it inside. So now hopefully we won't be having any particles sort of falling out. But even so, if you have, which it is here, you want to go ahead into the Tyflow settings. So select the Tyflow, set it to all, because Tyflow is actually on a geometry sort of group. So I'm going to go into physics and set the the steps to 1/4 probably. So it's going to be more accurate. It is going to take a little bit more time, but of course the collision and everything is much more accurate, and nothing will go out of the simulation. All right, so it's a very simple effect, and you can go ahead and add a force, a gravity, just to make it more natural. So you know, just go ahead, set the gravity to -0.1. So now they are going to fall down, and you're just gonna wait like until this finishes. So mine took about like what, 500 frames to kind of like almost fill up. All right, so that's it. And now for them to have like different colored materials, I'm just going to add a material ID node. And you know, first we need to create our materials, right? So it is taking some time to process. So I'm just going to go into the render setup and set my renderer to V-Ray 5 and close this. Hit M for the material editor, and we're just going to be creating some basic materials. So V-Ray material, we want the color to be red. So let's see here, how many colors? Red, blue, and yellow. So go here, red. We're going to give it some reflection and decrease the glossiness a little bit. Shift drag this one and make it blue, and shift drag it again and make it yellow, sort of an orangish yellow. I'm just going to add a multi-sub object to this, and yeah, so just go ahead and link them all. Set the number to 3, the number of materials, so 3, and plug this to second and third, and make sure to set this to random. And it is taking some time to process because we're already in the 50th frame. So I just go here, set it to 1 to 3 because we have 3 materials. And now just apply this material to the Tyflow object. So now you have these 3 materials. And onto the glass material, which is very simple. Just gonna drop a V-Ray material, set the color to black, and give it some reflection and full refraction, and that's it. So apply this to our object, and you can set a plane and set a sort of seamless background, which I've already covered in a lot of other tutorials. But again, if you want to, you can just go ahead and just create a plane, hit F4, and that's it. Right click, convert it to editable poly, hit 2 for the edge selection, shift drag this, move it up a little bit, and then shift drag again, and add a turbo smooth, set it to 3, and make it very, very large. And that is it, I think. So I'm just gonna set a sort of standard material for this, make it sort of dark color, very dark. So this is going to be our background, and then we have our objects. Alright, so now we're going to set some lighting quickly. So I've already done it, so we're going to be using some 3-point lighting. So yeah, just add 1 here, move it up, move it here, and set it to targeted. So the target is going to be here. So move it up, hit F3 again, so the target is here. And I'm just going to select the light. Make sure go to selection filter, select the light, shift drag it here, make sure it's an instance, and shift drag again here from this side, instance, go to the options, make it invisible. And because I've already covered it in a lot of other tutorials, I'm just going to go over it very quickly. So I'll just set up here a camera, and I think it's going to be a little bit bright. We need to do one more thing. We need to add a mesh operator inside Tyflow in order to see it in the viewport and render. So that's it. Whoops. Okay, it's gonna go here. Yeah, so we have it here, but then it's pretty reflective, and you need to change some settings inside the light. So just go select one light and make it like what, 10. And if our glass is a little too glassy, you can go ahead and add some fog color to it. So you can hit M and go here, double click on it, go to add some fog color, which I've done just to make it like more glassy, I would say. Yeah. And I think we're gonna add a dome light as well. Yeah, the dome light is really gonna make it stand out. So that's how it is, So it's gonna kind of like illuminate all the areas, sort of evenly. So that is looking really cool. And yeah, so it's a very simple effect, and it can be used to fill a lot of, any object that you want to really, and you can get some beautiful renders out of it. Okay, so this was today's tutorial. Hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you've missed anything, make sure to tell me in the comment section for this tutorial below. And until the next one, enjoy working.